The next thing we have to do here is talk about quadratic inequalities. And this again is just a bit of a blast from the past. So how do you solve the quadratic inequality? And this is where I want you to, come here and I want you to say, you must sketch it. You remember this all the way back from ECP. Whenever you've got a quadratic inequality, you must sketch it. You must sketch quadratic inequalities. So if I've got this, the first thing I want to do is sketch it. That means I first need to factorize it, because then I can figure out my x-intercepts. Now, what are two numbers I can multiply? So the product has to be -4. The sum has to be -5. What are some factors that would give me this result? Well, it's going to be, now you have to might think about it for a second, -8 and 3, because -8 times 3 is -24, -8 plus 3 is -5. So that means I'm going to get x minus 8 and x plus 3. That means my x-intercepts are going to be 8 and -3. So when I come and give this a sketch now, it's going to look like this. I know it's an upright parabola because I've got a positive x squared here. So it's going to look like this. And let's see if I can do this actually a bit more accurate. It'll look something like that. That is 8. That is -3. Now what I want to find is, where is this less than 0? Well, it's less than 0 for all of these values here. What it means to be less than 0 is I'm getting negative outputs. And as you can see, wherever I have an x value between -3 and 8, I'm going to get negative outputs, negative y values. Would you agree with that? For instance, if I put in, I don't know, let's say I put in 7. If I put in 7, do you see how I get a negative y value out? If I put in this value here, I'm going to get a negative y value out. If I put in -2, I'm going to get a negative y value out. But as soon as I put in values greater than 8, I'm going to get a number greater than 0, a positive number. If I put a number less than -3, I'm going to get out a positive number as well. That's how it works. We only care about numbers less than 0. We only care about negative answers, therefore. Therefore, we want to consider the x values between -3 and 8. So that means our final answer here is x is an element of -3 to 8. Now, actually, no square brackets. They have to be round brackets, because you're not including these points right here. So they have to be round brackets. Another way you could write this, oh, don't forget that negative. -3 is less than x is less than 8. That's another way to write it. So I'll write or here. Either of those would be acceptable. So that's how you think about this question. You have to sketch it. Otherwise, you can't figure out which side it is. And of course, you don't need all these orange bits. You should be able to look at it and identify what I mean when I'm saying like less than 0, greater than 0. Obviously, if it was greater than 0, you'd want things above the x-axis. If it's less than 0, as in this case, you want things below the x-axis. And if it's equal to 0, you want to include the x-axis intercepts as well. That's how you think about this question. Hopefully you found this helpful. I'll see you later.